on. And so you heard the voice you heard was Trade and Industry Minister Alan Tremanting.
We'll get to him later.
We'll get to him shortly. Yeah. But let's, so let's get to Alan Tremanting. Let's go to what transpired yesterday during the demonstration.
We saw people throwing stones. And these people were not Arise Ghana demonstrators. These were agents provocateurs planted in our midst by the police.
Right, so that's one of the organizers of the protest, Sammy Jemfi.
Yeah.
Actually accusing, he alleges that the police planted these persons, in the demonstrators, and they started the throwing of stones. So far as they are concerned, they did not start the process.
Right. Now, there are a few things to unravel, a few things to unpick, and a few things to educate ourselves on. For example, we want to educate ourselves on the issues of how the court rulings were secured and what they mean. So what each ruling meant. And also we want to understand the processes that occurred that led to the violence. So first of all, what did the protesters do? What did the police do? What is the standard operating procedure? And is that what we saw yesterday? Okay, because we did see the IGP briefing the men on how he expected them to handle the protests. But did what ensued match the training and the protocols of crowd control? We'll be getting education on that. First, though, a quick recap. I think we now have the quick recap.
Before we get into the recap, this morning we're talking about, heightening unemployment being a threat to national security. We have the voice of the Trade and Industry Minister, Alan Tremanting, making that point. Let's just listen to him.
Every year, over 300,000 people graduate from our tertiary institutions. And if you couple this with those coming out of our second cycle institutions, and those who do not even make it to either the secondary or tertiary institutions, nobody needs to convince us that unless we find a structured solution to dealing with unemployment, we would have a national security challenge on our hands.
Right, so that's the Trade and Industry Minister, Alan Tremanting, emphasizing the point that if we do not deal with the growing unemployment rate in the country, we may have a national security on our hands. Now let's get into the conversation, and we started by talking about, the pleas going to the courts and the courts ruling that the demonstrators can actually demonstrate from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. They had indicated they wanted to start at 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then continue the following day, that's today, also from 3 p.m. Now, the police went to the courts and they got an order from the court saying start at 8 a.m. and end at 4 p.m. Then the demonstrators filed a stay of execution, which they believed and enabled them to start the demonstration at the 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. But then they, in discussions with the police, said they just wanted to march to the finance ministry. But the police insisted they must stick to the court of order. The question is, did the stay of execution filed by Arise Ghana give them the right to resort to the earlier time of 3 p.m. to 10 p.m.?
Now, to help us understand that, we're joined by, he hates us calling him a prominent Ghanaian lawyer, but facts are facts, Samson Ladi Anyenini, who, of course, is also the host of Newsfile. Samson, it's always a pleasure. Good morning.
Morning, could you?
Also on the line, I believe, is the director at the faculty, of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Professor Kwesi Enin. Prof, good morning. A pleasure as always.
It's always a pleasure, and particularly having something also in the studio makes it even a much more delectable conversation this morning.
Indeed, this ought to be interesting. So I think we'll start. We'll go in the order of events. So we'll start with the courts, and then we'll come to the day of the riots themselves. Now, Samson, help us understand. This is what we know. The police were notified about a month ago of this. Following the notification, there were meetings, which is usually what happens. The group that seeks to protest meets with the police, and then they come to some agreement on the detail of how things will unfold. We are made to understand that those meetings happened and an agreement was met. That agreement had to do with them starting at 3 p.m. and finishing at 8 p.m. However, some days to the event, the police went to court. We are not aware of any communication between the police and the Arise Ghana group between the agreement and the court. All we know is the next move was police went to court. The court gave a ruling that the protest should actually start in the morning and end at 4 p.m. at Independence Square. So details completely different from what were originally agreed. The protesters then went to court and sought a stay of execution. The protesters believe that that move reverted them to the original agreement, because whatever the court ruled, those new details that the court ruled, they believe their stay of execution neutralized. So they turned up seeking to follow the original plan they agreed with the police. Were they right in law?
Okay, could you, so as you mentioned earlier, I think where there's no problem or controversy is the fact that the organizers complied with the Public Order Act 1994, Act 491, in respect of the notice that was required. And I always like to take the opportunity to say it's a notice, it is not permission. It's not a permit. So that we are aware that some people who do not have sufficient understanding or have deliberately misread and misinterpreted the law to mean that they have a power to give permission. That's not the law. The law says give notice at least 5 days before the event. And when you give the notice, part of the requirement of the notice is that you will have to state the place where you want to have the event, the hour of the event. You state the route that you intend to take, the nature of the event itself, then the time of commencement, then you show when you intend to end as well. So once you give them that, the law also gives them the power, or as it were, opportunity to discuss with you on certain developments. That if the police, having received your notice and having seen what it is you're going to do, the time you're starting, the time you intend to end, the proposed routes that you intend to take, everything, and they make an assessment and come to a consideration that what you are doing, if you go ahead with it the way you are seeking it, it may lead to violence or endanger public defense or public order or public safety or public health or the running of essential services, or that it could actually violate the rights and freedoms of other persons, then the law says they should make a request to you to either postpone so that they can prepare themselves properly to give you the protection that they have to give, or relocate or change, as it were, the route that you intend to follow. once they do that, the expectation is that that's what the law requires, that the organizers will also get back to them and say, okay, we agree with what you suggest, or we do not agree, and then they can reach an amicable agreement as to what should happen. I don't know why often this ends up into a fight. I don't know why it happens, as if we cannot be reasonable people and sit down and have a good argument, a good discussion, and agree on things. Too often, this has always ended up in organizers fighting police, police fighting organizers, and then surreptitious, applications to seek an injunction against the process. I think there's something wrong with our psyche, the way we proceed with it, how we do our things. And I would say what I believe about what happened in this particular case. Now, when you do those meetings and you cannot agree, then the law says for the police to stop the demonstration on the basis that if it goes on, the things I spoke about are likely to happen. Violence, public defense will be disturbed, public order, public safety, public health, running of essential services, or the rights and freedoms of other people may also be violated. Then they would have to go to court and seek an order to prohibit the demonstration, or through the court, there may be a decision that directs how things have to go. Now, it appears that's exactly what happened in this case. And since, I think, 2016, the court has held that the police used to do this secretly. They will go for the prohibition on the blind side of their organizers. And a justice of the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge, Justice Dennis J., gave a ruling that that's absolutely wrong. It should not be happening because it's a fundamental human right guaranteed under the Bill of Rights that people must exercise, and you can't frustrate it in that manner. And they used actually to go to the lower court, and the court's position was that you don't go to the lower court first, and second, you must go to the High Court, and when you are going to the High Court, you must notify the organizers so that they too can come to the court and be heard why they should not be stopped, or why things the way they want it should not be varied. So they did this and they went to the court. Now, having gone to the court, the orders that were procured became the orders that were to be complied with. All the time, it's not the best to be running to court. Sometimes the best solutions are not gotten from the court. So too often when we do things, we are running to court. It doesn't help. Because if you discover, it will appear that what they had agreed with the police, what the police wanted them to do, that is, end at 8 p.m. If they had agreed with that, which appears to be reasonable, to be very candid with you, it appears to be very reasonable that start your thing in the morning and end it by 8 p.m. Now, you go to court, and the court appears to have changed that and brings it to end at 4 p.m. That obviously is not what they desire. Now, if they say, because they have filed an appeal against the ruling, and in addition to that, they have filed a stay of execution of that ruling, and therefore the police didn't have the power to stop them from using the routes, using routes other than what the court had ordered, I say they got bad advice, very wrong advice. Because the stay of execution requires what the law says, showing a special circumstance why the higher court, as in the Court of Appeal, should change or dismiss the decision of the High Court. And always, the principle is that if the judgment that is going to be executed or the ruling that is going to be executed, if it is not stayed or the other party is not stopped from carrying out what the orders are, then by the time the appeal is determined, that order or ruling or judgment would have been rendered nugatory. It would have been thrown away. It would have become, they would not be in existence anymore. So if you say that because by virtue of your filing of the stay of execution, you could go ahead to do what you were now seeking by appeal to be allowed to do. By the time you go for the appeal, what is it that the court will be determining? Because you'd have used the route that you have appealed and seeking that you be allowed to use those routes. The time you wanted to commence and stop, you are challenging all of that. What it essentially means is that by the time the appeal will be heard, you would have already consummated what you have done, what you wanted. So there would not be an appeal anyway. I suppose you get the absurdity of what they were trying to do.
I follow your argument.
Yes, you say, look, Kojo and I, there is this money in the bank. Kojo claims the money is his. I say the money is mine. Now, we have come to the High Court. The High Court says the money belongs to Kojo. Kojo is about to go and spend the money on the basis of the judgment given to him by the court. Now, I go to the court and say, no, I appeal because it's wrong. It's not for Kojo. It's for me. And then I file a stay that stay his hand from going to take that money because he would dissipate it. And by the time that the appeal will be heard, he would have finished the money and I will not get it. Now, you say, now, stop Kojo from doing that. But I have a way, I have an access to the money. In the meantime, I have a right to go and take that money and dissipate it. Then when the appeal comes to be heard, what is being heard? You have already taken the money and spent. What is Kojo to be stopped from spending? So I believe that was really bad advice and an act in bad faith. But I fault the police too on some three failures, three issues that I have against them. You see, even when you go to a court and you get a decision, the parties are at liberty to compromise the decision. I've heard people say, oh, it's an order, it's a judgment of the court. The police were to enforce it. And if they don't enforce it, they will be in contempt of court. That's a lie. Once they are acting as two parties in the matter, when you get a judgment, you can compromise it. What do I mean? If after the ruling of the court, the two parties still believed that the organizers insist that this route, using the rich area to Nima, for them is the best place to go through, rather than the other route that the police was insisting they should use. And the police had the capacity to be a little reasonable in the circumstances of the shortness of time within which the ruling was gotten. It was gotten the day before the demonstration, and these people have informed us that they have informed all the demonstrators to come through a certain route, and they have already discussed all those with them. Well, that is partly their fault also, because what they had agreed with the police, or what the police had suggested to them earlier, could have been what they should have communicated to their people, rather than say, this is what we are going to do. Now, if you have a difficulty with that, the big thing to do is to try a win-win situation. is not to insist, particularly when you're dealing with a crowd. And as I discovered, I was nearly a victim of the disturbance that happened there, the very, bad, conduct that we saw, throwing of stones, because I had just gone under, I just drove past using the ridge area app. I just drove past. By the time I got there, the police officers, the high-rank officers, all of them had parked their vehicles there. The buses that had come there brought the officers, almost blocked the main road that we were using. So I found my way and went out. Just after I went out, then the stones be pelted. And then that road was actually blocked to users so that they don't get harmed. So, a win-win is always possible. Was it possible? I blame the organizers for their intransigence, but I think that the police could also have been a little reasonable. The routes that they said they wanted them to use, what were they going to lose if they allowed them to use the route that the demonstrators insisted they wanted to use? What were they going to lose if they had a compromise? You want to use A route. We say use B route. You insist on A route. We will give you part of A and satisfy you a bit through the B that we insist. And this is a crowd situation that you are controlling. And again, they were running against time. And the time I'm talking to you, I almost, I escaped, was after 2 o'clock. And they had 2 extra hours to end their demonstration according to the orders of the court.
Right.
Between 12, when they got ready, or by 1, if they had done a little compromise, was it possible that they could have done this thing peacefully, gone through, and this morning would have been discussing the main important issues that the demonstrators or the organizers stood for, which most of us, any reasonable citizen would support, as it were, how the forest reserve is being, raped, the matters of unbridled corruption that we see, the issues of the Japan. I mean, these are the main matters that they were raising, hardships. So if they had allowed some compromise, couldn't that have happened? Right. So that is where I say that I believe that they could have exercised better judgment to compromise. Whatever the circumstance, it did not warrant or justify trying to harm police whose conduct at the time was not intended to harm.
Right.
From what I saw, they were in their huge numbers, their large numbers, and from how they were doing, they started it. They only sought with their batons and things to stop them from using that, entrance, escape, to use the ridge road. And
Samson,
I thought that
Samson,
that was good policing.
Yeah, if
they
it's
are
okay,
not harming you,
I
why
want
do you
us
throw
to get
stones at
into
them?
I want us to get into the events of the day shortly. Once we've concluded the issues of the pre-demonstration back and forth and the legal situation there. So thank you so much for your insights on that aspect of it. We'll get to the day in a moment. But, the issues of stay of execution and what it means and all that have become a topic for debate. So in a moment, we'll look a little bit closer at that because there are some opposing views on it. But Prof. Enin, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring you in here because before the demonstration, the police also took some decisions, made some decisions, and I would like us to examine those. I realize that in other parts of the world where democracy is the method of government chosen, demonstrations happen. They don't even have the sort of expectations we have here that you must notify the police. It's a God-given right. There is a man who has been on a one-man demonstration across the street from the White House for decades. Every day you go, he's there demonstrating. Now, if things go bad with the demonstration, then security forces are brought in to deal with the situation. But demonstrations happen just because it is their right. Here in Ghana, the police often expect to play a very heavy role in demonstrations. Is there a specific reason for that in our context, or could the police allow some of these things to occur without so much of their influence and presence? Do we have Prophet Nin on the line, or have we?
Yes, I'm here. No,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
here. The line went off, so
Oh, so
I mean,
sorry.
if I got you right about the role of the police in giving permission for demonstration.
Yes, not just that, but even their presence on the days of demonstrations. We had 500 of them on this occasion.
All right. So let me preface my comment by saying that in any democratic dispensation, actually in any political dispensation, demonstrations are a useful tool to gauge and gauge the political temperature in the country as to whether government policies are moving in the right direction and people's perceptions and understanding of those policies. Kojo, the state of Ghana has not changed very much, particularly elite political behavior from the colonial times. So we have inherited a set of colonial practices that when we assemble them and present them to the populace as security practices, reflect just a sheen of what happened in colonial times, in which the legitimate desire by the unruly hordes of people were to be controlled through the power or powers invested in the law enforcement agencies, either to grant or not to grant the permission to demonstrate. And every single government in this country after 1951 has also appropriated the same approaches to dealing with demonstrations and demonstrators. So we need a bigger conversation about our own understanding of what demonstrations are for and what they can be used. The conversation or the analogy to this individual who has been demonstrating for years is not a very useful one, because there are two things that seem to conflict here. One is the law. What does the law say we can do legitimately? Two relates to the conceptions of what security is and how security must be provided for the larger interest of the state and its citizenry. Now, we also know, both in practice and in theory, that when we talk security, security is that particular facet of human engagement that occasionally needs extraordinary powers for security to be provided. So, in all instances and in all societies, even including the US, that man who sits there, and that is why I think it's a wrong analogy, he is watched, his cough is analyzed, his flatulence is analyzed, and in any instance where they think his presence there poses a security threat to the president, to the White House, he will be removed quickly, and he can fight to the Supreme Court. He will not win, because in cases of threats, and particularly where the state characterizes that threat as posing a danger to their existence, the courts will always back the use of extraordinary measures. Now, how do we negotiate these two seemingly, contradictory points? One is that we need, as demonstrators, to demonstrate within the remit of the law. We need to understand that when you want to demonstrate, the police, even in Scandinavia, you need a permit, and you are guided and guarded by the police as you demonstrate. If you Google my name in Politik information, I've demonstrated on the streets of Copenhagen, I don't know how many times, during the period of dictatorship in Ghana. So what the police are doing in Ghana is not different from what happens elsewhere. The police's role is to protect the larger interest of the state and the citizen. Now, when you started your conversations, someone used the word agent provocateur. Now, I want to come back to the sequencing leading to yesterday. If I remember correctly, and do please correct me here if I'm wrong, I think the original application for demonstration was supposed to start from 10 p.m. Now, nowhere, and even those of us who don't have access to information, would grant such a permit. Precisely because we know that there are fifth columnists in this country who seek to undermine, appropriate, infiltrate, and then hijack legitimate political demonstration. So that 10:30 or 10 p.m. start was by itself a sent wrong signal as to the real intentions of those who wanted to demonstrate. Now, my argument earlier on was that, look, if there is no real bad intentions, why 10 p.m.? Now, that creates extra burdens on the law enforcement agencies. So, can you shift it to the daytime? Okay. Apart from that, there were utterances. Only death will stop us. Only the discourses around, or the discussing utterances, and I'm probably one day we can continue this. The type of sentence structure, construction, the type of words used, created for those of us sitting on the outside a clear perception that right from the word go, some people wanted violence and some people wanted to engage the police or act in ways that threatened lives and threatened property. Now, when you send those
fix of these this sort of wording that put you on that alert?
Yes. When you use that kind of wording, it will be a terribly incompetent police force or service that will not be on alert and put its intelligence analysts to say, what do these people want? What do they want to do? So we have a right to demonstrate. But demonstrations, those who seek the permit must themselves be interested in ensuring that they demonstrate within the remit of the law.
Prof,
because if you allow your demonstrations to be hijacked by fifth columnists, you will bear the responsibility.
Prof, forgive me, you said those who seek the permit. I think we know that there is no permit sought for demonstration.
Or who sought whatever, permission to
permission. I think it's notification that the law requires them to do.
The notification.
Yeah.
So if you and I notify the police that we want to do this, and I guess sometimes there's a conversation around their route so that they can provide the protection. So you and I have a responsibility to ensure that people don't hijack what we intend to do. That is always a possibility. And from what we know, as far back as about 4 or 5 years ago, there were demonstrations by Occupy Ghana in which we know that there were 2 Algerians who have sought to infiltrate that demonstration, okay, and cause some problem. So we need to be careful, even in dealing with or in demanding our democratic rights of expression and assembly, that people don't hijack it, because there are multiple interests when we do this. So let's work together and say that, look, how do I express what bothers me? And I think there were a lot of people who expressed support for what these guys wanted to do. You know,
including myself.
Including yourself. And we are all feeling the pinch. And there are lots of things that we need to do. Today I speak about Professor Mills' 10th anniversary. And there were some things he did, that are now coming back to haunt us. Okay, so this demonstration, I think, had wide support from a broad spectrum of Ghanaians. But it is the violence, the fear that the violence might be hijacked, routinized political violence that is not controlled and that spreads, creates considerably more problems for this country. So, yes, let's demonstrate. Let's do it within the remit of the law, but also let's be sure that even within and amongst ourselves, we must see something that we are not sure about and then say something.
All right.
Because these are dangerous times.
Yeah. Prof, you asked us to correct you if you got any part of it wrong. I think there was a small detail. The original proposal made by the Arise Ghana group to the police was that they had wanted to do a 48-hour demonstration starting at 3 p.m. on day 1. They would then spend the night at Jubilee House and continue the following day. But the final agreement they came to with the police was that there would be 2 separate days of demonstration, and on day 1 they would start at 3 p.m. and end at 8 p.m. That was the final agreement that they came to with the police before the matter was taken to court. All right.
So,
permit me to also say that we have in the studio with us Mr. Broja Jemfi, who is one of the leading members of Arise Ghana. We'll be hearing from him shortly as well. Prof, you were going to say something.
2 quick points. You know, were I to be the police, I would shift the 3 p.m. a little bit early and then the ending a little earlier than 8 p.m. daylight, because nighttime. Look at, bad lighting in our urban spaces creates policing problems, challenges. Now, a mass of people spending the night at Jubilee House, I think that poses a security problem. And for all of us who want to raise our voices about what is happening in this country, I think we need to always ask ourselves, what is the end result of what our political actions seek to attain? None of us, and I think no one in the Arise Ghana group, seeks to act in a manner that poses extra threats to this country than probably what we are facing already. Okay, so can they communicate to bring an understanding where the demonstrations can continue today? I think there's a second day of demonstration today. Hopefully, we've all learned bitter lessons from what happened yesterday. But in expressing that our right, we need to be conscious that we may be also creating opportunities for others to hijack, misappropriate, and create more danger. So a partnership, a collaboration with the police that allows the demonstrations to go on. Show your placards, scream, shout, whatever. But the violence becomes difficult to control. And those who are old enough to remember the anti-regime demonstrations in April 82, in November 82, in June 83, and onwards, that it's always difficult when the stone throwing begins to bring things under control.
Well, Prof, we'll be getting into the events of the day next. We'll be hearing also from Mr. Broja Jimfi, who is one of the leaders of Arise Ghana. But before we do that, we'll hear some messages from our partners. And when we come back, as I mentioned, Samson expressed a view about what it means to have a stay of execution on a ruling. It appears that it's a matter of debate. Martin Kwebu has a different view on it. We'll hear from him as well, and then we'll get into the issues of the day. We're breaking it all down for everybody's understanding right here on the Super Morning Show after these.
The ninth Wonder Tours with Adansi Travel is here. It's a Nairobi, Dubai, Kigali, Dubai, and exclusive Dubai Adansi Papebi unforgettable mega tour. Come along on the ninth Wonder Tour as we explore Nairobi, Dubai on Kenya Airways, Dubai on Emirates, and Kigali, Dubai on Urand Air. Each of these goes for 12,990 Ghana cedis per person and starts on 9th August with over 15 different dates to choose during August and September. This package covers flights, visas, hotels, transfers, and 9th Wonder Tours prepared specially for you. Pay for the value of 6 days and enjoy a 9-day tour. There shall be a special all-white yacht cruise on Dubai Marina, guided discounted shopping in Dubai, and a great experience at the Desert Safari. Register from now till 10 July and enjoy a discount of 1,000 Ghana cedis per person. Book your seats now on www.adansitravels.com or call 05955 00817 0552 648-267. You can visit our head office in Accra, East Legon, close to American House. Adansi Travels, feel life's beauty.
Whatever it is, make it MasterCard. Switch to card for all your payments. Make it MasterCard when creating memories with those you love. Make it MasterCard when streaming your favorite music album or TV series. Make it MasterCard when doing your usual supermarket run, in-store or online. When filling up your tank for a thrilling road trip, make it MasterCard, the safe and convenient way to pay. MasterCard, priceless.
Roverman Productions in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM presents an Uncle White play, I Slept With Your Wife.
Honorable, I slept with your wife. Eh? Which wife?
Hey, how many do you have, Honorable?
Jesus! Venus! This man slept with you? Hey, my boss.
You did this to me.
It's okay. I won't say anything. I will not say anything.
Hey, Honorable! Honorable, please, don't do this, Honorable.
Father! Out of the way! Let me kill
I
him!
Slept With Your Wife shows at the National Theatre on June 25th and 26th and July 2nd and 3rd. Time 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Rates 100 Ghana cedis. Tickets are available at Joy FM, Shell Shops at Airport, East Legon, Dansuman and Tema Community 11, and also at Bachana and Hacho Total. Or WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Media partners Joy FM. This production is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, A&E Laboratory, TFHO, and
GHQR by Gibbs.
You can also purchase tickets via Callbar short code *365 *535#. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
GSE, the Ghana Stock Exchange, energized for growth. Join Ghana's preferred investment platform. Experience our 3 exciting markets customized to meet the scale of your idea or business. GSE Main Market, Ghana Alternative Market GAX, Ghana Fixed Income Market GIFM. The GSE provides a platform that helps you mobilize capital for your business to be in the right place. Speak to us or our licensed brokers and we will tell you how. GSE, the preferred platform for investment and raising long-term capital.
Ghana, unim 7 C's, ahoɔden.
7 C's, ma.
Nipaduanim asrafoɔ no ahoɔden. Enuane nnuro a ɛyɛ vitamin A, D, aboa nipadua no.
7 C's wɔ.
Vitamin A, D, aboa nipadua no. Ɛma wo nwi, wo honam, wo dompe, ɛne wo sen ahoɔden. Na afei so, ɛboa siesie wo ma ho yɛ fɛ yie paa.
7 C's wɔ.
Omega 3 a ɛhwɛ siesie wakoma, wadwene, ɛne w'ani nkosia.
7 C's wɔ.
Ɛsiesie abusuamu ne nyinaa. Ɛyɛ cod liver oil. Aye nananom ajiatum efritete. 7 C's cod liver oil.
Ubenya wo over the counter medicine shop, any pharmacy shop.
Edroi, chemist and a crabber.
FDA adi edredin kratoyi atum. Driver, so it's no mommy why?
Your money no reach.
But you're also sweating.
Sake of the 11.
11 na your ding.
Aha, see them, government speaking. By their words, you shall know them.
Wait, are you aware that if we had better road network, we would not be in this unnecessary traffic?
I'm aware, pa, but things are tough.
Indeed, things are tough all over. That is why we need to come together and ensure a better future for Ghana.
What are you talking about?
Bosu, when we all pay it, it becomes more. Little drops of e-levy can build a mighty nation.
We are sure.
When you pay your taxes, including e-levy, the government will be in a better position to provide more social amenities and build more infrastructure.
Charlie, it not be easy.
Mitewase, but it gets better when we have a plan and we stick to it. Many Ghanaians don't pay their taxes. It's not easy for the government too. E-levy know a good plan, so let's together build our nation with it.
Hey, e-levy ambassador, papa.
Let your taxes work for you, and let's help develop Ghana together. This ad is powered by the government of Ghana, Ghana Revenue Authority, and the people of Ghana.
Pay your taxes.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glycolife, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
The feeling of being the champion of the famous childhood game, Pilolo, is like knowing a secret that no one knows and using it to your advantage. That is the feeling of being on Ghana's favorite network and getting your money's worth. With Airtel Tigo, you can get exciting tailor-made products and services that work for you. Dial *111#, select option 1 for big-time data to enjoy data that doesn't expire, and option 4 for Sika Koko to enjoy huge data at little cost.
Airtel Tigo, life is simple.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn, no bath, no chop, where it vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You not get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Hajia, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor get water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank get meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selenium. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! That's my boss, Mr. Poncho go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show.
In Accra that we do not ever want to see. So we're getting to understand it, and we started off with the sort of pre-game events, if you like, what led to the day itself and the court proceedings and so forth. Samson Lade Anyenini gave us his perspective of what it really means if you get a stay of execution, what it means, what it allows you to do, what it doesn't allow you to do. Now, Professor Inning also talked about the role of the police in the lead up to a demonstration. He brought the local context, how things are in Ghana, and how our own unique security situation requires a certain unique response or a certain unique role to be played by the police in demonstrations. Now, we're going to move forward to the events of the day. But just before that, we're joined by Martin Kpebu, another prominent Ghanaian lawyer, who happens to have a slightly different view about the meaning of this stay of execution. Let's hear from him very quickly. Mr. Kpebu, thank you once again for your time. You don't think a stay of execution allows the demonstrators to revert to the original plan that they made with the police?
Yes, that is correct, Kojo. I don't believe so. But Kojo, let me put in one sentence before we continue.
Right.
Yesterday we saw rubber bullets. We want to beg IG that rubber bullets are Methuselah methods. Rubber bullets are not fashionable. We should do the attenuated energy projectors, AEP, since 2005. That's almost 20 years ago. They developed the AEP. That's a better technology. So let's switch to that. Rubber bullets can maim. You see the eye that was almost gouged out. Okay, now let's come to the stay of execution.
Right.
Because the stay of execution is the, so let's say the application. It's one that is filed to stop the implementation of an order made by a judge. Okay. So if a judge makes an order, you are not happy with it. When you file stay of execution, you get a reprieve. The order is suspended till the application is heard. So let's repeat it. No matter how weak, okay, no matter how weak the application, when the judge has made an order, everybody knows that this is a good order, but somebody thinks he doesn't agree. No matter how weak, when you file the application, the order is not to be implemented until it is heard. So when somebody files stay of execution where you know that this thing is very weak and it will cause you too much harm, irreparable harm, there is what we call file for abridgment of time. Abridgment of time. That's to bring the time forward. So in this case, you see that the Arise Ghana, the date indicated on it is 12 July. We all know by 12 July, everything has been a fait accompli. Okay? So the police had a duty yesterday to have file for abridgment of time, and then the application would have been heard yesterday in the morning. So you could have done so. You applied to the Chief Justice. But let me tell you, you can put on another lawyer, act generally in the legal community. They will tell you that when stay of execution is filed, everybody stays their hands. It's different from, it has a brother called stay of proceedings when a judge is handling a case.
Martin, you just said everybody stays their hand.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes, so,
stays their hand. The
yes.
demonstrators were insisting that they have to do what they want. Actually. What they are asking for an appeal, they want to do it now, consummate it before they go to the appeal, and even for the stay of execution to be heard. How fair is that?
Sam, no. So when they say stay your hands off what the judge has asked to be done. It's not what was happening before. What the judge, so you see that, Sam, you brought an example of money. If it's money and there's danger, you don't use stay of execution. You go for a freezing order. But if it's stay of execution, when somebody files stay of execution and he has money in his account, that was the money they're looking for.
Martin.
In the interim, he can spend it.
Martin.
So you go for a
No, when it is
order.
money, you can file for stay of execution of a judgment rather than a freezing order.
No, say that again, please.
You said when it is money, you go for a freezing order. And I said when money is involved in a judgment, you can file for stay of execution of the judgment.
Excellent.
And the effect is that everybody stays and keeps the status quo. But you have a party who says,
all right, if we can hear Mr. Kpebu first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Samson.
That's fine.
Just a moment, please. Yeah, Martin, please conclude your point.
Yeah, so the stay of execution saying that stay your hands, the stay your hands is in relation to the order the judge has made, not what the parties were fighting over before. No. So once you have that thing filed, and look, let me repeat with all the force I can master. When you file that paper, even though it's not worth, sometimes it's not worth even the paper on which it is written, until the judge has heard the case, you are free to do as you please. You are free, even though it's not even worth. Sometimes it's not worth it. Everybody knows it's delayed. Like it appears in this particular case like this, they wouldn't have, the problem would have won. But once you file it, you are free. You do what you want, so to speak. So that's how come, if you don't want the person to do it, in this particular case, what the police should have done is to go for abridge, to cut short, bring the time forward. And they could have done it yesterday in the morning, everything, shabu, before the 12 o'clock.
Right.
Then the judge will throw it out. So when the judge throws it out, then meaning that the judge's order should be implemented.
So let me ask this. Once the stay of execution was applied for, does it then fall to the applicant to decide which stage in the past they are going to revert to? Because there were several stages that led to the point where the police took the matter to court. So who decides what stage in the past they will revert to once the stay of execution is applied for? Should they simply not just hold off everything, or can they choose which decision they will enforce or implement?
This one, they will choose a reasonable one, because if they go and choose an unreasonable one which involves breach of the law, the police will arrest them. So you choose a reasonable one. Remember, in this particular, we are limiting it to this context. Remember that in this context, it is a permit, notification, not a permit. You see how it works on our mind. It's notification to the police that we are going on a demonstration. They are not seeking permission. So police have to provide security. So they will choose a reasonable one, because if they go and choose an unreasonable one, an unreasonable conduct, that one they fall foul of the law.
So the police will determine whether it's reasonable or not?
No, the demonstrators would determine what they think is reasonable. Then the police would then judge if they think this is or it's not.
So it's the police that will determine in the end?
No, it doesn't lie with the police. No, citizens have a right to demonstrate.
Can I make a quick intervention?
As long as they are not committing a crime. So let's say a security zone. So if they say don't go to Flagstaff House, it's a security zone, don't go there, and you go, that one police will arrest you.
So let me ask you this. Let's say that, the stay of execution gives the demonstrators the power to do what you are saying. So they turn up in the morning and they say, okay, we are going to do this. Now, police powers are broad. If the police determines that there is the possibility of a crime being committed during this demonstration, do they not still have the power to completely stop it, to prevent crime and protect the public?
Well, on paper, yes. But remember, the test is reasonable cause. You have to have a reasonable cause. It's not just your say-so. Otherwise, then the police, and you've seen it in the past, they try to do it. They'll just stop it and say, security concerns. We don't have enough men at the rest. So before you stop it, if you think there is a crime, there has to be a reasonable suspicion. And what is reasonable is explained in the law. What are the grounds? Show the grounds. It's not just you have a gut feeling. Because remember, in this particular context, when they went to court, they couldn't even show the judge the intelligence that they gathered that some people are going to do terrorist activities. You didn't show the judge. Ultimately, it is the judge that will look at the evidence and decide. So if you don't show the judge, how will we believe you?
All right.
Yes.
Samson, really quickly, your intervention.
Yes. Could you, first of all, quickly, your question about the police can stop a demonstration, and we have to be careful about that one too. By the law, they cannot so much to determine that a demonstration has to be stopped. They must get an order of the court to stop a demonstration, and the law actually talks about prohibiting it, not permanently. Now, I cannot agree with Martin on this matter, that an application to stay execution of an order of the court in the matter that we are discussing now, it is okay to allow the party who has made that application to go ahead and consummate the act he desires and then stay what? It is okay for that party to consummate the act for which he has an appeal, asking to be granted the opportunity to do it the way he wants. And then when the appeal is heard, what is there to be determined? You have already taken what you want. What you want in the appeal, you have taken it. What you want by stay of execution, you have taken it. What is there for the court to determine? I disagree that in the circumstances of this matter, a stay of execution allows the other party to go ahead and proceed to consummate the action for which they have an appeal, to consummate the act for which they have a stay, and leave the court bereft of anything to determine. I disagree. The principles of equity clearly will show, fairness clearly will show that this must not apply. This cannot be the case.
Okay, this is one that could go back and forth for a while. I think we'll probably have to create space for it later. But we need to move to the events of the day. And to start that...
Kojo?
Yes, Samson.
I had said that these are normally granted on the basis, there's always one main principle, that the action you want to take is not rendered nugatory, that it does not become otiose. It doesn't come to a point where it is unable of being what you wanted to do. You are unable of doing it anymore. That is where these applications for stay of execution are granted. Okay. What is there that would have been rendered nugatory in this circumstance?
Right, understood. A point understood. I think we have to move on now. I'm conscious of our time. Mr. Broja Jemfi is in the studio with us. Now, he is a leading member of Arise Ghana. Mr. Jemfi, thank you for your time and your patience as well.
Thanks for having me.
Very interesting perspectives being shared. Like, on the day, we've debated what happened before, but on the day, you turned up with a plan.
Yes.
You intended to stick to the original agreement that you had made with the police. On the grounds, the police objected to this. They offered what they believed to be a compromise, which was that you would take a different route and end up at Independence Square and end things by 4 p.m. as per the ruling in court. This did not meet your approval. But at what point did it turn from discussion to violence?
Well, let me state first of all that the demonstration is continuing today. People are already gathering at the Airwork Stadium.
Have you spoken to the police?
Yes, there was no disagreement about the second day of the demonstration, and they have assured us that they will be available to provide security. And so, against hope that
why is it
there will be no, because the police has acted in bad faith from the beginning of our engagement with them, and we think that what happened yesterday was predetermined. And if you see the actions of the police, it was very clear that they didn't want the demonstration to happen. And so, back to your question, you said that when we got to the ground, what actually happened? We had a meeting with the police, top hierarchy of the police. I was in the meeting myself. I think COP Nyawonu was there. One Awuni, I don't know his rank, and then the Greater Accra Regional Commander, and one COP Doku, and very top brass of the police. We met with them, and we rather proposed a compromise route. Which was they had already agreed for us today to go to the ministries and parliament. And so we said that once you are comfortable with the ministries, the Independence Square has no significance with our demonstration. And so allow us to use the Akwaje interchange. And when we get to the Akwaje interchange, you don't want us to go to the Flagstaff House for whatever reason. Keep the Flagstaff House. We will turn right and go to the ministries and end there. And for us, the distance between the ministries and the Independence Square, I mean, it's not too far. So that was our compromise.
And what route did the police propose?
The police rather wanted us to go through Fari School they didn't want us to pass anywhere, through maybe the frontage of the president's house or the Akwante interchange. We didn't know the reason that
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when we proposed that, the officers that were meeting, I think that they felt that that was reasonable. So COP Nyonu said he wanted to place a call. And we said, okay, we'll wait for that call. After the call, he said it's not going to happen.
And where is he placing that call to?
Nobody knows.
But if you agreed, if they agreed that you go to the finance ministry, did the route really matter? The route to the finance ministry?
Yes.
Couldn't you have just targeted getting to the finance ministry and end
Okay,
of story?
so when the point is that yesterday, they didn't want us to go anywhere but the Independence Square. It was not as if they agreed for us to go through Farisco and end at the finance ministry. Okay. They just said that they were not going to allow us to go anywhere apart from the Independence Square. And so once we got to that deadlock, we then told them that then we will not move from the Obra spot because we're not going to use their route. Okay. And I think that by that action, we're not flouting any court order, and we're not going against any agreement that the police had agreed with us. And also to make the point that when we came out from that meeting, all these officers, vanished from the scene. We don't know what they planned.
Which officers? That's in
the senior officers, because they were with us inside the Kwame Nkrumah amusement park. Okay. Inside, they were there with them, together with many of the demonstrators. And so we began calling the demonstrators from outside the amusement. We wanted them to move from the street and come inside the amusement park, which we got a good number of them to come. That's where the addresses started. We started addressing them. So while on the address, we now heard that there was some confrontation outside. We don't know exactly what happened. But when we started moving towards that area, then we saw the tear gas, come to our direction with the shooting, and then
we saw some of the demonstrators clashing with the police.
Yes.
We saw we saw stones being thrown at the police. Yes. And if you look at the videos, you would see at a point the police, people trying to move and the police preventing them. These are things that happened, and you would agree these were the beginning of the problems, isn't it?
No. You see, if you watch all those materials, the videos, you'd also realize that we had security arrangements. We had about 700, personal security persons who were identified. We told the police that those people will be there to help, ensure that.
And the police agreed that
exactly. They were all in reflected reflectors jackets, and the police were with them. You'd see from some of the videos that they were in front of the police, waving to stop anybody from throwing anything at the police.
So that means people had started throwing things.
Exactly. But you see, the police has a new unit, the intelligence unit. And our intelligence was that they were going to infiltrate our ranks. And of course, we identified some of them on the ground. Some of them were in our T-shirts. They were dressed like demonstrators. Because at the point where we're going to...
Do you know all the demonstrators?
So if I land, you understand. At the point where we're going to have the meeting with the police, there was some kind of struggle to get access to the venue for the meeting. And so the police were withdrawing because there were a lot of demonstrators around. When one of our leading members, Bernard Mona, attempted to tell those guys to allow the police to come, they said they were police officers and they were protecting these commissioners, and they were there with them. They were dressed like the demonstrators. At the point, some of us identified one of such persons who threw a stone to the police. And so the leadership of the Arise Ghana accompanied this person to the police and asked the police to arrest him. The police rather shielded him and protected him from, because when we realized that he was not one of us, dressed like us, there was some apprehension, but the police protected him. So we think that from the beginning, because we gave the police about a month notice, and nobody goes out to riot and notify the police for more than 3 weeks. From their conduct, our meetings, and going back on what we have discussed with them, we realized that they just didn't want the demonstration to come on. You see, when they went to court, and our lawyers, of course, lawyers for Bernard Mona, entered appearance, and we wanted the case to be heard, the police told the judge that they were not ready, and that they wanted the case to be, heard on a different date. And the judge said that the demonstration is for tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's
and so the conduct of the police was like, the demonstration should not come on.
So for those who were on the ground, and from some of the pictures that I have seen, and you may have seen them also.
Exactly.
You could see persons throwing stones from the flyover at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. Now, these persons, are you saying all of those persons who were throwing stones were not part of the demonstrators, and thus were persons that the Ghana Police Service recruited to disrupt your demonstration?
Okay, the point I'm making is that the police provoked themselves to act. And once they started acting, the persons in the demonstration, and some of them, as you said, on the flyover, also started to respond. Nobody really provoked the police to do what they did. Because, they had virtually barricaded that route towards the Akwaje interchange. And so it was not possible for anybody to break through that barricade that the police had mounted at that place.
But there were attempts to do so, and we saw that on video. We saw the crowd pushing against the police, the wall that the police had created.
At that point, the security, you can see persons in some green reflectors. If you review the materials, you see them. Those are our security people. And those people were rather joining the police to prevent anybody from pushing back. But let's even leave what happened beginning. That happened around 1:30 to 2 p.m. When they dispersed the people, we all moved towards the Nkrumah circle. And at that point, we began to call the people. We were announcing that we should not be violent towards the police. We are peace-loving people. Whilst we are addressing the people without any provocation, and this was around 3:50 something. I don't know if their intention was that we were supposed to close at 4. They didn't engage the leadership. They just started throwing the water, the tear gas, to the extent that some of the leaders got hurt in the process. What provoked the police to use that force to disperse the crowd at that hour, when we had not even crossed 4 p.m.?
Okay.
And so clearly, I think that their intention was to brand Arise Ghana as a violent group and to give us a bad name in order to affect the day 2 of the demonstration. But we are very certain that Arise Ghana has come to live, and we have series of actions that we are going to take, and this will not deter us.
I was watching around 2:30 p.m. That was when I had the first report of a tear gas. 2:30.
Yes.
Not 3:55. So by 2:30.
No, I'm not talking about after that incident. Okay. We gathered again.
Okay. Right.
At around if your reporters will tell you.
So that was not the first.
That was not the first.
All right.
After the 2:30 p.m. of the tear gas and everything, calm returned. We called everybody. We began, gathering again, advising them and giving speeches. I was left with about 3. The concerned drivers have spoken, spare parts dealers, everybody was left with about 3 persons to speak when the police now came in with that force to disperse.
We're going to hear from our other guests as well right after these messages. Stay with us.
I sat up as the pleasant aroma wafted through the cracks in the door and into my living space. Whatever it was, smelled heavenly. I felt my palates open up to receive this very welcome guest. I mean, I had to taste. And as I rolled it around in my mouth, I realized I just loved the texture. And just like that, it was down my throat and giving my body life. I wanted more. Lele rice does that to me every single time. Thanks, baby, for cooking today.
You're welcome. And as we continue to enjoy our favorite rice, Lele reminds us to observe all COVID-19 safety protocols because COVID-19 is still around. Lele, tasty food, happy family.
This advert is FDA approved.
Mr. Bossman, with all these computers, servers, and electronic equipment, I know they see one cable for the floor crack.
Charlie, you be right too. We dey use raised access floors from interface, so all the cables they hide under the raised access floors. So
this be the solution to the plenty cables where they my computer room for office. Accountant, call interface now.
If you're involved in new property development, renovation, or decoration, the right place for you is Interface Limited. Call us on 0274 999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook, Interface Limited GH. Instagram, interface.limited.
Wow, I just paid my taxes right now. Since they started this pay from anywhere, it has become easier, cra.
Easy, cra. Now nobody has an excuse. So long Jenny no ye jai. Tax, why? Effie, don't tell me you have not been paying taxes, so.
No, I'm tired of paying. Don't be. It is the taxes we pay that government will use to improve the market and to build the nation.
I don't know. It just takes your whole day. Hey, you mean you have been going to the GRA office?
Effie, unye current, cra. Come and join us. So I'm not paying taxes, no.
Pay your taxes online, at the bank, or from your phone. Together, we can build a great nation. GRA.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back. It's the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM, where we're reliving some of the moments from yesterday. Now, if you were watching the Joy News channel, I was anchoring the live coverage, and Mr. Jimfi referred to what happened at 3 o'clock, what he calls an unprovoked use of water cannon and so forth, and tear gas by the police. I've got to say that at that particular time, it was at the start of the pulse, and I do recall that tires were being burnt. Tires were being burnt. We saw that live. And the police moved in to douse those fires. I just need to bring that in. We will hear more from Mr. Bojaji in the studio shortly. But I want to go to Professor Kwesi Enin, who joins us on the phone. Prof Enin, in addition to your what I'm sure are quite a number of submissions you want to share, I hope you can educate us also on the proper procedure of riot control, the escalation, if you like. So do we start with water cannon and then move on to rubber bullets or tear gas? What is supposed to be the proper, let's call it, escalation? And is that what we saw yesterday?
Well, the escalations are not something that simply take place. They are a gradual process. They are indications of when people are becoming jittery. So normally there might be a bullhorn that is then used to appeal to people to disperse. And then as the stone throwing comes in and the shells are used, normally the police will try to use the bullhorn, try to retreat slowly in the hope that reason will prevail. But where it fails, then of course water cannons are used, or sometimes the police will actually charge first with their truncheons and their batons. But the use of tear gas is just about the last resort. Because the tear gas then disperses people. People get hurt, people get trampled upon, and it is routinely not the most appropriate thing or the most preferable thing to do. If you remember the history of tear gas use in Ghana, puts the police service in a very bad light. And I think that is why Dr. Dampare was quite conscious yesterday in telling his men to act professionally.
And Prof,
unfortunately, tear gas usage and the training on the use of tear gas, because they are different canisters from different countries and different manufacturers, sometimes poses problems in their effective usage as a route control mechanism.
Okay.
However, because people have decided that they will nevertheless get out onto the streets today, I think the police must re-strategize and ensure that we see a considerably less violence today.
Did we get to the last resort?
It poses a very bad image for this country.
Did we get to the last resort where the police could use tear gas?
Excuse me?
I'm asking, you said tear gas should be the last resort, and I'm asking, did we get to the last resort?
I haven't seen the video footage because I've been traveling. But I think more often than not, there is a quick use of tear gas. We saw it in the Accra stadium disaster, and then we've seen it in a couple of other places where it has been resorted to, in my view, quite frequently and unnecessarily so.
What about rubber bullets? Those things look quite lethal.
They are lethal. They are lethal. But all this relates to training, and the handling of these equipment. Kojo, my worry now is that if you take the history of public anger against the state, and by extension the police, in Kwanzaa, Zamramale, Edra, Senya Breku, and now this, routinized forms of public disturbances across Ghana, if we don't find a way of collaborating and negotiating around it, I think it's going to increase. If it becomes random, rampant, routinized, it can be very problematic. And taking into consideration Alan Chemating's point about 300,000 people coming out of tertiary schools, can that pass caution to public perceptions about the judiciary? If you put all that into a basket and we make a hierarchy, then I think as a nation we must have an ulterior interest in pulling back from the brink. We are beginning to get to that tipping point.
Prof, just before you go, I would love a quick reaction from you to what the information minister said last night. He was speaking on Metro TV. He talked about what appears to be an organized attempt to create unrest in the country, and that is the view of government. Please, let's hear him quickly, and then I'll get a very swift reaction from you on that. Forgive me, I think we have a problem with that sound. But essentially, Mr. Opon Nkrumah linked a few issues in an interview that he had on Metro TV, pointing out that they suggest that there is a design to create unrest. I don't know if do we have this clip now? No, unfortunately the clip is not ready. But he talked about the demonstration that was proposed by Fix the Country, where they wanted to, be armed. He pointed to that and talked about a few other instances that lead government to believe this. Is this a feasible, or in fact, are you picking up professionally that might be the case?
Professionally and non-professionally, I am not picking up that. What is a potential problem? And I think what we all should watch out for will be the spontaneous expressions of anger and frustration. That is what I've termed as the routinized one.
Yeah.
Because immediately the levels of frustration become so high that people think it becomes legitimate to strike a blow at an expression of their frustration. Then within 72 hours, we can see it spread across the country. and they may not necessarily be organized. I think there's a misconception around what the real threats are. And that relates to, this heightened public discourse from the official side about the terrorists are coming. And I think that conversation from the official side is riddled with holes, gaps, and inconsistency. The organized threats that, Honorable Opon Kroma is talking about, from where I sit, the challenge that we will face will not be that organized. It will be spontaneous, and it will be difficult to predict, and it will be difficult to control.
Thank you so much, Professor Inin, for that. Now, listen, we still have to wrap this up. When we come back, you will be hearing what will happen to those who have been arrested. Because, the police say they have arrested some people and will arrest other leaders of this demonstration. What will be the punishment for those who are arrested and prosecuted for what happened yesterday? Samson educates us. And then we wrap up with Mr. Bruja Jemfi in the studio. All after this.
Ghana, winning 7 seas, ahoɔden. 7 seas, ma. Nipaduanim asrafoɔ no ahoɔden. Eniani no a ɛyɛ vitamin A, D, aboa nipadua no. 7 seas wɔ. Vitamin A, D, aboa nipadua no. Emma wunyi, uhonam, udompe, ene wosin ahoɔden. Na afei so. Eboa siesie o ma ho ye feye pa 7 6 wo omega 3 a ehwe siesie wakoma wa adwene ene wani nkosia 7 6 wa esiesie abusuamu ni nyina eye cod liver oil aye nananom ajiatum efritete 7 6 cod liver oil
ubenya wo over the counter medicine shop any pharmacy shop
edroi honest chemist and a crabber
FDA adi edredin krato yi atum.
This is the Cherry QQ. Ooh. Compact yet spacious, cool when hot and hot when cool. Long distances, low fuel, good looking, tough and rugged. Ooh. The Cherry QQ carries load without being a load. Can be fun, can be serious, but most importantly, it's easy to drive and easy to own. Ooh. Affordable, respectable, manageable, and can be yours today. Just call Rebecca on 0501 274 487 and say Fred sent you for a discount on your new QQ. Ooh.
Cherry QQ, distributed and serviced by Tanning Group.
GSE, the Ghana Stock Exchange, energized for growth. Join Ghana's preferred investment platform. Experience our 3 exciting markets customized to meet the scale of your idea or business. GSE Main Market, Ghana Alternative Market GAX, Ghana Fixed Income Market GIFM. The GSE provides a platform that helps you mobilize capital for your business to be in the right place. Speak to us or our licensed brokers and we will tell you how. GSE, the preferred platform for investment and raising long-term capital.
Roverman Productions in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM presents an Uncle White play, I Slept With Your Wife.
Honorable, I slept with your wife.
Eh? Which wife?
Hey, how many do you have, Honorable?
Jesus! Venus! This man slept with you? Hey! My boss.
You did this to me.
It's okay. I won't say anything. I will not say anything.
Hey! Honorable, please, don't do this, Honorable.
Father! Out of the way! Let me kill him! Slept With Your Wife shows at the National Theatre on June 25th and 26th and July 2nd and 3rd. Time 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Rates 100 Ghana cedis. Tickets are available at Joy FM, Shell Shops at Airport, East Legon, Dansuman and Tema Community 11 and also at Bachana and Hacho Total or WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Media partners Joy FM. This production is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, A&E Laboratory, TFHO and
GHQR by Gibbs.
You can also purchase tickets via Korba short code *365 *535#. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Hello, Kwame. Yeah. Come and visit me.
Hey, Akosia, that's your house. I don't want to come there again. Oh. Drama be what?
And that's for that, my Fiera. Hey. Oluma with grey hair who like the nice young ones. Oh, you to come and let's do some salad.
Okay. I will bring some kelewele so we can chop once we enjoy our eyes.
Tilfiasem. Enjoy real local drama on the new channel Akwaba Magic Ebusia on Go TV. This is your new home of local content and more. Ciao, Iniso. GoTV, love it.
Hello and welcome to today's weather report. This morning,
have you updated your bank account records?
The weather is unusually chilly for this time of year with scattered thunderstorms.
But have you updated your bank account details?
Will you stop interrupting?
Will you go and update your bank account details?
From the 1st of July 2022, the Ghana card will be the only identification card that will be accepted in undertaking transactions at all banks. Update your bank account records with your Ghana card details at your respective banks. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Association of Banks.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Better believe it. And of course, we're seeing all your engagement across our platforms. Thanks for all your text messages and tweets. Keep using the hashtag JoySMS. Text messages on the Super Morning Show are brought to you by the Glyco Critical Illness Plan, GSIP. It's in your best interest to survive.
And however safe traveling may seem, risk of all sorts, including ill health, physical security, accidents, and natural disasters remain unpredictable with consequences that could be dire. Glyco Life Travel Insurance provides you with an insurance cover to relieve you financially should you encounter any of the unforeseen events while abroad. With its solid international network, Glyco Travel Insurance guarantees you medical and emergency assistance if you fall ill, including care for COVID-19 infection, replacement for loss of baggage, passport, driving license, national identity card, and or equivalent consular documents. Glyco Travel Insurance also guarantees you cover for personal accident, personal liability, compensation for trip cancellation or curtailment, losses and delays that last over 4 hours. Give Glyco a call on 0555 305 547 or 0501 696948 for a travel insurance policy that suits your needs for an enjoyable travel in absolute peace of mind. Terms and conditions apply. Glyco will cushion you for life.
All right, it is KingdomStoreOnline.com, the one website you do need to check out today. You can buy everything from Kingdom, pay via Momo, and they will deliver to your home and office in good time. If you live in Accra and Tema, that delivery will be free. Terms and conditions apply. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
And the Ghana Health Service and its partners announced to the general public the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination campaign in all communities in the Greater Accra region. Now, all persons who are 15 years and above and who are yet to be vaccinated, all unvaccinated pregnant women, all persons who have taken their first vaccination for a period of more than 4 weeks who are waiting their second vaccination, and all persons who have taken their primary jab for a period of 3 months and above and waiting for their booster are all eligible. Vaccinators are available at all government facilities, selected private facilities, and all child welfare clinics. This campaign is scheduled to offer all eligible people in the Greater Accra and Ghana as a whole the opportunity to get vaccinated to protect themselves and their families. The vaccines are safe and potent just like routine childhood vaccines. Groups and organizations can contact the district health directorates for arrangements to get their members vaccinated at their convenience. Please, for support and further inquiry, kindly contact the following: Vida on 0244945783 and Esther on 0247013876. Get vaccinated to protect you and your loved ones. This announcement is sponsored by Japaigo Rice Project.
Right, now money is good and money showers, that would feel great. Luckily, Airtel Tigo Tugu Miso Reloaded promotion is back with huge cash prizes of over 1 million Ghana cedis up for grabs. That's money that can help you with your business, money that can change your life, sort out school fees and other bills. So do more on Airtel Tigo from now until until September 2022 and stand the chance of winning some amazing cash prizes. Just dial *500# to check your weekly AT money calls, data, targets, and so forth to enter the promotion. Send more money, make lots of payments, and cash out on AT money. Also, talk more, browse more, buy more bundles, and subscribe to value-added services to earn tickets to increase your chances of winning big. So to further increase your chances, you can buy extra tickets on *500#. And you can win up to 5,000 Ghana cedis every week, or up to 125,000 Ghana cedis in the grand draw. Yes, you can be that lucky. So don't wait, just dial *500# now and enter the Airtel Tigo Tugu Miso Reloaded promotion. Now, all winners will be contacted with only this number: 026 0000 100. Any other number is a scam. This gaming activity is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
And Polytank, trusted by generations, for 30 years we've carved our place in the hearts of Ghanaians as reliable, top quality brand that they can trust. Dear Ghana, we are because of you. Thank you for 30. Polytank, trusted by millions nationwide. Polytank, trusted by generations.
Now, at Allianz Life, they absolutely walk their talk when they say they find every possible reason to pay claims. Their direct micro-insurance business, launched in 2019, has some policies at maturity, and they delightfully notify their customers to collect their money. They also partnered with the Vision Spring to embark on free eye screening for the communities where they sold, and they gave out free eyeglasses to those who needed it. Life insurance can never be better than this. At Allianz Life, they secure your future.
And there are 100 reasons to buy airtime with MTN Momo. You're probably asking why? Well, it's really simple. Momo is giving you back 100% bonus whenever you buy airtime from your wallet. Now, that's 2 times the airtime you need. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount, daily, weekly, or monthly, by dialing *170 option 3 and follow the process, or simply dial *170 *311 for a superb airtime purchase experience, so that you're scheduling tomorrow's airtime today or buying airtime when you need it on *170 or *170 *311. You get 100% bonus airtime, so you can make twice as many calls and catch up with a just only on MTN Momo.
And the National Lottery Authority would like to inform all of you and all stakeholders that effective the 3rd of July 2022, NLA will commence lotto draws on Sundays at 6 p.m. Morning draws for its lotto games shall take place at 8:30 a.m. every Monday to Saturday at the Brennan Hall of the NLA. It has also set up prize payment centers at all offices across the country. Patrons can now redeem their wins after the draws at any of these prize payment centers. Patrons with wins of up to 1,200 Ghana cedis also have the option of redeeming their wins instantly after the draw via USSD code *389 *1000 #. NLA has instituted these initiatives to reduce the payment period for wins and ultimately enhance the playing experience for all patrons. For further inquiries, just call the customer service helplines 0266 087 966 or 0266 087 946. NLA, development through games. All right, listen, let's wrap this thing up. We've got just a few minutes to go. We'll split them 2 minutes each between our guests. We'll start with Samson. Samson, we would like some education. The police say they have arrested 29 of the rioters who were behind, who were involved in the violence yesterday. And also, they have said that they will arrest the organizers of the demonstration and put them before court in line with Section 3 of the Public Order Act, Act 491. What will happen to those arrested if they are prosecuted for these crimes, or these alleged crimes?
Okay, so if you're arrested on the basis that you failed to give a notification, you failed to inform the police of your unwillingness to comply with their, different view about it, or you acted, contrary to how you agreed on these routes, that's the basis for arrest. If you breach that, that's the basis for arrest, failure to notify and so on. Of course, if you have also, in the process of the demonstration, as an individual, committed a crime, then you could also be arrested. If you have, in the course of the demonstration, committed a crime as an individual, that's not the business of the organizers. You don't arrest an organizer for that. And the organizers arresting that I hear some are going into some panic mode. I want them to take note of this. Only those who sign the notification request, are subject to arrest for what the police talks about. I hear other people are being pursued. The police do not have a right in that. The law is very specific, and they must act according to the law. Now, the aspect of causing damage, I have taken the view, together with my friend Martin Kebu some time ago, that we may need to check that and go to the court and challenge that. If there is a damage, is that a public property for which the law says the person who did the damage must pay? or the organizer must be held responsible to pay, is that to be done through a criminal process.
Right.
Our view is that that is not what ought to apply. But for the criminal aspect, if you are found guilty, you are supposed to pay a maximum of 3,000, between any amount to 3,000, or in addition to that, or in the alternative, you are looking to jail for 1 year. But
Thank you for that, Samson. Thank you so much. So we apologize that we have to cut in at that point. Our time is almost up. Mr. Broja Jimfi.
Well, I will call on Ghanaians and supporters of Arise Ghana to join us today as we gather at the Elwak Stadium, at the frontage of the Elwak Stadium, and march towards the Parliament of Ghana. We are not deterred by the threats of arrest. The police have already indicated that they've arrested some 29 persons. Funny enough, including school children.
They're looking for you.
In their own, they can find us at Elwak. We will all be there today, and so we will not back down on the series of activities that we have lined up, going forward to do, based on these threats of arrest. And so we are calling on all Ghanaians to join us today, Arise Ghana, and Save Ghana Now.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on proceedings, and we want to thank you all for joining us on today's edition of the Super Morning Show. On behalf of the whole team, I say thanks for listening. We're back tomorrow with more. My name is Kojo Yankson. Have a wonderful morning.
Whatever it is, make it MasterCard. Switch to card for all your payments. Make it MasterCard when creating memories with those you love. Make it MasterCard when streaming your favorite music album or TV series. Make it MasterCard when doing your usual supermarket run.